Marcus sent the text at 1:47 in the morning. 4 paragraphs: context, timeline, intention, apology. A complete legal brief defending a joke he'd made 3 days earlier that his girlfriend was still cold about. He read it twice, hit send, and waited. 2 gray check marks. No reply. He'd done this before, with his ex, with his mother, with a boss who fired him anyway. Every time, the same ritual: build the case, present the evidence, wait for the verdict that never comes. Marcus wasn't arguing to be understood. He was arguing because somewhere along the way, he started believing silence was a problem he could out-talk. Welcome to The Unseen Mind, where we break down the psychology running underneath your relationships so you stop reacting blind. The JADE trap. Here's what Marcus didn't know he was doing: justifying, arguing, defending, explaining. Psychologists call it the JADE response, and it's the reflex of anyone who grew up needing to earn peace instead of receiving it. When Marcus's girlfriend went quiet, his nervous system read that silence as danger, not distance. So he did what he'd always done. He built a case. More detail, more context. Surely if she just understood his intention, she'd stop being upset. But jading doesn't work on someone who's already made up their mind, because it's not built for that. It's built for courtrooms where a neutral judge weighs evidence. Relationships aren't courtrooms. The person withholding a response isn't waiting for better evidence. They're making a statement, and the statement is, I don't owe you engagement right now. Every additional paragraph Marcus sent didn't move her closer to resolution. It moved him further from his own dignity, because now he wasn't just a man who made a joke, he was a man begging to be unconvicted. Here's what men get wrong. They think more words equal more control. It's the opposite. The more you explain to someone who isn't listening, the more you confirm you need their verdict to feel okay. And people can smell that need from a mile away. It doesn't invite resolution. It invites more silence, because silence just became a lever they now know moves you. The gut punch. Every time you over-explain to someone who's already checked out, you're not proving your innocence, you're proving your dependence. Losing your frame. There's a concept in dark psychology called frame theory, and it explains exactly why Marcus's 4 paragraphs backfired. Your frame is your internal reality, the lens through which you and everyone around you interprets the situation. Whoever holds the strongest frame in an interaction sets the terms of it. Silence, when used deliberately or even unconsciously, is one of the strongest frames there is because it forces the other person to fill the void. Marcus filled it, every time. And each time he did, he handed his frame over. His girlfriend's frame became the reality. Her coldness was reasonable, his explanation was insufficient, and his job was to keep producing better ones until she approved. That's not a relationship between equals anymore. That's a man auditioning for forgiveness in a play where the other person controls the script. The fix isn't coldness or revenge silence. That's just frame warfare, and it's exhausting. The fix is holding your own reality without needing it ratified. A man with a strong frame can say, I hear you're upset. I'm here when you want to talk about it, and then actually stop. Not stop as a tactic. Stop because sense of being a reasonable, good faith person doesn't require her agreement to exist. That single sentence carries more weight than 4 paragraphs because it doesn't ask for anything. It states a fact and lets the fact stand. People don't respect the man who explains the hardest. They respect the man whose reality doesn't wobble when someone else goes quiet. The gut punch. The moment you need someone else's response to know how to feel about yourself, you've already lost the frame. No amount of explaining gets it back. The covert contract. Marcus believed something he never said out loud, and that's exactly the problem. He believed, if I explain myself fully and fairly, she is obligated to respond, forgive, and move on. That's a covert contract, an unspoken you've made with someone who never agreed to its terms. Covert contracts are the quiet killers of self-respect because you keep score against an agreement that only exists in your own head. This is why over-explaining feels so brutal when it fails. It's not just that the explanation didn't land. It's that the imaginary contract got violated, and Marcus felt cheated, even though no promise was ever actually made. She never signed anything that said 4 paragraphs equals instant forgiveness. He wrote that clause himself alone, and then got angry at her for a breach she never agreed to. Men raised to be the good ones are especially vulnerable to this. You were taught that fairness gets rewarded. Do the right thing, explain the right way, and the universe balances the ledger. Relationships don't run on ledgers. People respond to how they feel in the moment, not to the fairness of your paragraph structure. The second you catch yourself thinking, "But I explained it so clearly, she has to understand," you've stepped into a contract nobody else signed. Break the contract before it breaks you. Say what's true once, plainly, and let the outcome be the outcome, not a debt someone owes you for your effort. The gut punch. You cannot be cheated out of a deal the other person never agreed to make. The approval loop. Underneath the JADE reflex and the broken covert contract sits something older, an external locus of control. That's the psychological term for outsourcing your sense of okayness to someone else's reaction. Marcus didn't actually need his girlfriend to understand the joke. He needed her face to change so his stomach would stop churning. The explanation was never about the joke. It was about regulating his own nervous system through her approval. This is the loop. Discomfort rises, you seek someone else's validation to lower it, they don't give it, discomfort rises further, you explain harder to force the validation out of them. It's a hamster wheel with no exit, because the relief was never actually in their hands to begin with. It was always something you had to generate internally, and you handed the remote control to someone who has no obligation to press play. Here's the tell. If you find yourself rereading your own text messages, rehearsing what you'll say next, refreshing to see if they've responded, you're not communicating anymore. You're chasing a hit of relief through someone else's reaction, the same way a slot machine chases a payout. And like a slot machine, the person on the other end learns, even unconsciously, that your discomfort is a lever they can pull just by staying quiet. Men who break this loop stop treating other people's reactions as the finish line. They regulate first, internally, then decide if a conversation is even worth having. The gut punch. You weren't explaining yourself to be understood. You were explaining yourself to make the discomfort stop, and that discomfort was never theirs to fix. The extinction burst. Here's the part nobody warns you about. When you finally stop over-explaining to someone who's never listened, it gets worse before it gets better. Behavioral psychologists call this an extinction burst. When a reinforced behavior suddenly stops working, the person who relied on it doesn't calmly accept the change. They escalate. Louder silence. A guilt trip text. A wow, so you don't even care enough to explain. Designed to pull you right back into the old pattern because your explaining was working for them, even if it wasn't working for you. Marcus tested this without meaning to. Exhausted, he sent one final message. "I said what I needed to say. I'm around when you're ready," and stopped. For 2 days, nothing. Then a message dressed as an attack. "Must be nice to just move on so easily." That's the burst. That's the system fighting to restore the old incentive. Because the old incentive worked in their favor. The mistake most men make right here is caving. They read the escalation as proof they were wrong to stop, so they go back to 4-paragraph texts, back to the JADE trap, back to square one. Except now the other person has learned the escalation works even better than silence did. If you cave during the burst, you haven't just lost this round. You've taught them the new, more effective way to reel you back in. The men who hold steady through the burst are the ones who change the entire dynamic permanently, because eventually, when escalation stops producing a payout, it stops happening at all. The gut punch. The moment it feels the worst is usually the moment it's actually working. Marcus didn't get an apology that week. What he got was quieter, his own voice back. He stopped drafting explanations in his head before conversations even happened. He started saying less and meaning every word of it. 3 weeks later, his girlfriend brought up the joke herself, unprompted, and apologized for going cold. Not because he out-argued her, because he stopped needing her to agree with him to know he was fine. That's the shift. You were never actually bad at explaining yourself. You were just handing your piece to people who never asked to hold it. Drop a comment below. Where in your life are you still explaining yourself to someone who checked out a long time ago? Subscribe if this hits something real. And next time, we're going into a pattern that's even harder to spot because it doesn't look like weakness at all. It looks like being the understanding one, the unseen mind. Stay sharp.